Humberto, like, I'm trying not to get hot about it. Like, I don't want to get mad at Humberto. Like, I get it. Like, he was mad at Sheamus. Sheamus has been, punking him and attacking him backstage and doing all these things for the past few weeks. Like, I get it. But you really couldn't have waited just a little longer? You know what I mean?
Hey everyone, Rick Ucchino here again for Sportskeeda Wrestling, and my guest at this time has had quite the couple of weeks after busting his hump in NXT and 205 Live for years, signed his contract to become an official Raw superstar, found himself immediately in the United States title picture, and on top of all that, he got married recently. Mansoor joins me now. Congratulations on all your success, good sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for the congratulations. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Personal stuff aside, you find out recently you are going to be heading up to Monday Night Raw. When did you find out, and what was that moment like when you were told?
It was pretty much the day of. I have been going to the Thunderdome for the past couple of months and competing on main event, which was, a real pleasure. Working with guys like Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa have been amazing. So I had the feeling that maybe I was being looked at to see if I was ready for a permanent transition onto Monday Night Raw. And that day, I got there wondering who I was gonna face, and a member of the team came to me, shook my hand, and said, "Hey, welcome to the team, kid." And I was, completely and totally shell shocked. I mean, I always hoped that it would come one day, but when it finally did, it was like, wow, like it's finally here. After 3 years and however many years beforehand of preparing myself and training for this very moment, it's come tonight. So yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Now you thought that they were looking at you to see if you were ready. Did you think you were ready at that point?
I believed I was. Yeah. Well, you always think you're ready. I thought I was ready 3 years ago when I first got here. I wasn't, but I thought I was. I'm my hope for my career is that I'm never going to be the best that I can. Because when I hit that peak, it's only downhill from there. I always want to keep learning, and I always want to keep getting better. Whether or not it's a matter of ready, I think that's subjective. I believe that, these 3 years of learning at the Performance Center and having experience on 205 Live and NXT, and even on a grander stage like Super Showdown and Crown Jewel, have been completely and totally invaluable for me because it prepared me for this very moment. I mean, I was nervous. I had butterflies in my stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up the whole night because I was like, this is it. This is my first impression. If I don't match the intensity, a guy like Sheamus, who is probably going to beat the tar out of me, who's probably going to knock a tooth out, probably the hardest hitting, toughest guy in the company. If I don't match that aggression, I'm dead in the water. And, I was behind the curtain, and then my music hit, and I walked out, and it was gone. I got in that ring, and the bell rang, and it was like, yeah, this is what I was meant to do. This is the job that I've wanted, and this is my dream. And all of a sudden, it was like everything clicked, So, it was amazing.
Yeah, and your first night on Raw, you get the backstage interaction with the United States champion, and then you find yourself in a United States title match. I mean, I don't think you could ask for really much more than that than a debut, could you?
I mean, I could ask for Humberto Carrillo to wait like 5 or 10 minutes. I think that's not too much to ask. Like, I don't know if he just got out of the doctor's room and sprinted to the ring, but yeah, I would have liked that match to end. If I was going to lose, I wanted to lose like a man. I wanted to have a decisive ending to that match to determine who was the better competitor. And the fact that we don't know that is, that's going to be a cause of concern for me in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Humberto is kind of there on the same level. I like Humberto. I've known Humberto the entire time I've been here. We've been in NXT together. I've met his wife. I mean, he's a great guy, and he's got amazing dimples. But I don't respect the way he came in on Monday, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have a little bit of a problem there as far as the three of us are concerned.
Yeah, and, the United States Championship was on the line, but also you had 49 consecutive matches without a defeat, and then you lose your debut match on Raw thanks to some outside interference from Carrillo, as you said.
How anticlimactic is that, right? I mean, that's like Humberto, I'm trying not to get hot about it. I don't want to get mad at Humberto. I get it. He was mad at Sheamus. Sheamus has been, punking him and attacking him backstage and doing all these things for the past few weeks. I get it. But you really couldn't have waited just a little longer? You know what I mean? 49 wins. whole streak thing was really crazy because I didn't even notice until someone pointed it out around like 30. And that's when it started to kind of change gears for me because suddenly I had something that I was defending. You know what I mean? Like suddenly there were like higher stakes to every one of my matches on 205 Live, on Main Event. And it was like, okay, yeah, this is something that I can really build. And it brought the best out of my opponents too. You know, guys like Drew Gulak and on 205, guys like August Gray, Kurt Stallion, Everrise. They wanted to break that streak, and they wanted to be the guy who broke that streak. So they were bringing a next-level intensity and competitiveness that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you were a little disappointed it ended the way that it did, but it sounds like you're a little bit more than disappointed.
I'm a little bit, maybe a little bit. Yeah, but hey, you know what? It is what it is, and you know, it was fun while it lasted, but you know what means more than that 50 or 49 undefeated streak? That United States Championship. So hopefully that's in my future.
I was going to say, because now that you're on Raw now, has your focus or any of your goals changed from what they were before? You're now on Raw, so how are you how are you focusing and what are you looking forward to now being on Monday nights? Obviously, that United States Championship, which I think is the prettiest belt in WWE, is right there in front of you.
Very pretty. It's got a little bird on it, and I got a little bird on me too. So you know, I like birds. I like falcons. I think it's an eagle on that title, which makes sense. Other than that title, I think one of the biggest things I'm looking to prove on Monday Night Raw is consistency. You know, I've had matches on 205 Live pretty regularly, but this is on a much, grander scale in front of a much larger audience. An audience that, for the most part, has only seen me on Super Showdown and Crown Jewel. So they've only seen me about 2 times a year. And, for all they know, I'm kept in an icebox until it's time for the next show. So what I really want to prove is that I'm a guy who can come out there every single week and put on a hell of a show and put on a hell of a match. And no matter what beatings I take, no matter how hard I get hit, I'm the guy that always comes back and finds a way to pull through. I mean, that's the reputation that I've tried to establish for myself. And I want to be in that locker room on that roster full of guys, of legends, some of whom, I was watching as early as when I was in high school, and prove that I belong and that I fit in. I would really like to show the world that I deserve to be a Raw superstar.
Yeah, and you bring that up. You're 25 years old. You look at the landscape of the locker room. Not many guys on the Raw and SmackDown, roster are south of 29. I think you, Humberto, Dominic Mysterio might be the only ones that I can really think of. Many years' experience there. Is there someone that you're looking forward to talking with and working with and picking their brain a little bit, or have you already?
Yeah, someone that has been really, really generous to me has been Randy Orton. He's been someone who, it's very intimidating to go up to a guy like Randy Orton, who has done so much and accomplished so much in WWE. And he's just so incredibly approachable and kind and always offers honest feedback. Most of the locker room has been really amazing about that, where, after my matches or after, anything, I'll go to the back, and anyone who's watching the monitor, I'll always ask them how I did. And, Randy's been great for that. Of course, another veteran who I respect a lot is Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Bobby Lashley. Mustafa Ali has been really, really great too. I mean, he's given me a lot of guidance and support. I mean, ever since I got to the company, and even ever since that, huge battle royal, he was giving me a lot of advice and kind of showing me the lay of the land. So, yeah, it's been. I have no shortage of support, and I'm extremely lucky for it.
Now, I think you've brought up now all 3 of your big wins in Saudi Arabia. Very rarely does a superstar get to celebrate in front of their home crowd. You have been able to buck that trend so far. You win.
Yeah, usually they lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, just look at Big E at WrestleMania. You win the 51-man battle royal. You beat Cesaro. You beat Dolph Ziggler in one-on-one matches in your home country of Saudi Arabia. Being the first Saudi Arabian wrestler signed to WWE, what did that mean to you to get to go back home and have all those moments?
I remember in the Battle Royal, my older brother, Dalal, who basically introduced me to wrestling, is basically the reason I'm here, honestly. He sent me a video of my dad, my father, in the crowd, watching for the first time a show. And, I'm in that match, and the camera pans to him, and he's standing up and clapping and cheering and booing, and I remember that's it, man. Like, that's what I've wanted my whole life. You know, not just for my father, but for every single person who, you know, when I was a kid in Saudi growing up in Riyadh, I remember thinking, man, like, I am never going to get to see this. Like, watching it on the TV, watching my first WrestleMania, seeing The Undertaker, I was just thinking, I'm never going to get to experience this live, and feeling kind of a sadness in myself. And the fact that we can now bring that to people and you know, children who were just like me and wondering if they would ever get to experience that, because there really is nothing like experience WWE live. It's the greatest show in the world. Like, even when I was just a fan, like, that was always what I cherished the most, is, you know, taking my little sisters to WrestleMania, and they're dressed up like Nikki and Brie Bella, and they're just so incredibly invested emotionally and everything that's going on. I mean, that's something that, you know, can't be replicated anywhere else. So it's been so special. You know, after that Battle Royal, I jumped into the arms of my family and celebrated with them, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me. And I can't tell you how much it meant to people who have been looking to legitimize WWE and professional wrestling in that country, you know, where otherwise it might be seen as like, oh, that's not for us. So I really appreciate all the work that the company's been doing there.
Really, really great stuff. I do have one final quick question for you. Back in March on 205 Live, you dropped a Jimmy Wang Yang reference.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats.
I was going to say,
Dragon.
Dude, I'm not lying to you. He is my instructor up here in Cincinnati. I train with
Really?
Jimmy Yang twice a week. And I was going to ask, man, you got to be a pretty big Jimmy Wang Yang guy if you're dropping his name on 205 Live.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jimmy Wang Yang guy. I mean, Jimmy Wang Yang is like one of those guys who you really, really appreciate after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, as a wrestler, like wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, for me,
absolutely.
It was always, as a wrestler, I always looked at guys like Christian and you know, wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, guys who you'd look at and go, man, like, everything they do is so crisp. They're so creative. They're so innovative. And Jimmy was definitely one of those guys. So yeah, I was really excited to drop his name on 205.
Yeah, he was too. He made when I said I was interviewing you, he made sure to hint that I should bring that up. So I made sure to bring that up.
Really happy. I'm really happy that he heard that. I'd love to meet him one day.
Well, whenever everything subsides, come on up to Cincinnati. I know where he trains.
Sure, yeah, sounds good.
All right, Mansoor, I really appreciate the time. Congratulations again on everything, and good luck moving forward, sir. We'll talk again down the line.
Thanks so much.